Hey there, CNC fans. Welcome to Saturday night. There will not be a Wookiee sighting this Saturday night. He got his money back and decided to do like everything that he should have been doing all year in like one weekend. So he is not going to be around, evidently. Evidently, he can't put the hammer down and like walk into the other room and like sit down for an hour. So he's not going to be here tonight. He's probably somewhere eating, just not on the stream. So anyway, so if you want your wiki fix, he's not going to be there tomorrow morning either. So he's like evidently unable to stream all weekend. So anyway, with that caveat out of the way, let me bring on his partner in crime.
Abby someone.
Abby someone.
Abby who? Abby normal.
Yes, I'll get a reprieve from tomorrow morning and get to sleep in a little bit.
Did it add? Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah.
Muted, Bunny. There you go.
All right. Yeah. It's clear. All right. It took me a minute. All righty. So let me bring on the other guy. And
If it's no Scottish, just clap!
Hello.
Hello.
How you all doing?
Well, it's the weekend.
And
It is the weekend.
it's the
yes.
weekend. It's the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a time prophet sighting.
We have a oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
All
time
right.
prophet
The one,
is arrived.
the only, the time prophet.
Yeah. He
Well,
It's
you
like,
could be.
yeah.
You could be time prophet.
He
That's
could-
exactly what you could be doing. You know,
He could be doing that. Yeah, he was
There you go.
doing
Okay.
that
maintenance.
business of work.
Maintenance.
Could be a deceptive facade. He's away. Yeah.
And
think it was code
Could
for
very
something.
well be.
and you know what? He's not here for us to, to defend himself, so we can badmouth him all night. Isn't that lovely? Let me
Well,
go
we
back
could just
there.
we could just make the stream about that instead. It'd be great.
We could.
Yeah. Well, talk trash about Wookiee night. Yeah.
Dump on Wookiee.
So never did talk about those giants, did we? No. Anyway.
Giants with giants.
Giants, what giants? Anyway. So basically oh, okay. Well, all right. There you go. Yep.
I
Anyway,
prefer not to look at his face, time prophet.
There you go. So to speak, I mean, you never appear on camera and you are in Scotland, so it is what it is.
Huh?
Anyway. All right.
Prof-
So let me go ahead.
Yeah, time prophets in England.
England. I apologize.
Yeah.
I
I'm a
apologize.
I'm Scottish.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you so
Thank God.
drastically there. So anyway.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Did not mean to insult you. But
Not
anyway.
insulted.
All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys are kind of weird about that kind of crap over there, you know.
Well, you know
Like,
what?
nobody wants.
I got called a fat bastard once, and I was like, "Yes, I am."
Oh, okay. Oh, well, there you go. Well, I mean, nobody wants to be called Welsh, so
That's a good point,
I guess
yeah.
as soon,
I
as
made
long
that
as you
mistake
call it,
once.
yeah, as long as you call somebody like English, they're okay with it, but don't call
Called
them
a
Welsh.
coworker a Brit, and he was from Welsh, and yeah, that was the end of it.
Yeah. Well, Welsh don't identify themselves as English, and English is quite okay with that. They're quite okay with that. Anyway, half Welsh. Wales is a great country, just crap government. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's probably
Well,
the same
you know,
in most countries. Let's be honest.
Well, they do have this old Welsh joke. You mind if I tell it right quick? Okay.
I don't mind.
All right.
You're the host.
Why do the Scottish wear kilts?
Go on then.
Okay. Because sheep can hear a zipper from about 200 yards. So there you go.
Ooh.
Anyway. All right. Anyway.
Now I don't know this.
Grumpy.
I don't. No. I don't know this for a fact. But apparently, you take the sheep to an edge of a mountain, they push back.
Right. There you
Okay.
go. Yeah. There you go. That takes care of that. Anyway, so a little information. We always learn something new. Every time it goes on. Anyway. Actually, it's a Welsh joke. It's more sheep in Wales. Okay, all right. Yeah, but they don't wear kilts, and so it's better if you have kilts. Anyway, all right. So we were talking about the giants,
Right.
Oh, that's why they call the Welsh sheep shaggers. Oh, okay, all right.
Well, that was Aberdeen fans.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, gives a new meaning to shearing the sheep, I guess. Anyway, all right. So, yeah, you do wonder why the first condoms were made out of sheepskin. Just saying.
Well,
Somebody had to test that out. Anyway, so here we are. We're talking about sheep buggery, and we should be talking about the giants. All right. Now, I blame time profit. So here we go. Moving on. Right.
Because you can't blame Wookiee. He's not here.
Well, maybe his lack of being here is the problem.
That is a problem.
His absence is the problem. It's your fault, Wookiee. You're not here.
Yeah, well, fortunately, he would have his mouth full right now, so it doesn't matter. Anyway,
I do have snacks just in case.
So let me go ahead and pull in. Oh, you do? Yeah. Well, all right. So okay. Anyway, so we're talking about the Great Giant Cover-Up, or the Giant Cover-Up. However you want to look at it. Anyway. All right. No, there are not going to be any slides. They're not going to be slides, and they're going to be done in MS Paint. So there you go. Anyway. All right.
Don't you love it?
Anyway. All right. So the thing about giants is the preponderance of like factual information that these things existed. Okay. As a matter of fact, we were just discussing anybody that is a wrestling fan knows for a fact that giants exist. Suddenly, a certain one called Andre was dominating the 70s and 80s. Somebody who could pick up people like they were kids who were like 300 or 400 pounds, and just pick them up off the mat and walk around with them like they were sacks of flour. And he had a hand span about this wide, just an incredible human being. Evidently as kind as you can imagine, but the dude could put away more beer than a bar full of Irishmen. Which was a fact, because when he was in Ireland, he basically drank everybody under the bar. So this is a fact. This is, not just hyperbole. But anyway, and we also, Paul White exists, also known as the Big Show, who is actually taller than Andre was. Yep. Yeah, he would play the Sasquatch in $6 Million Man. He certainly did. And he and Lee Majors were friends all the way the rest of his life, too. Lee Majors has said this before. But everybody's very fond of Andre, but he was massive.
Yeah.
Did I highlight that? Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was massive. Say Cruel Byron must know giant haystacks in the rest of the world. I don't
That's
know
right.
him. How big was
Giant
he?
haystacks. I'm not sure how big he was, but he would often be involved with Big Daddy and things like that. I think he was in WCW, but he didn't really last that long in there. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
He was in there.
It would have to be
He was in WCW for
WWF
a
back then, probably. Yeah.
Eh? No,
Um.
WCW. The other one, WCW.
Oh, WCW.
Yeah,
Was it NWA
WCW.
era or just? Yeah. Well, there's the
No, I think it
Yeti
was. I think
guy.
it was after the NWA. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's the guy that played Yeti. He also played Giant Gonzalez. He was
Oh,
actually
was that
bigger
him? Was
than,
it? Was that him?
it might have been. It might have
El
been.
Gigante. Yeah, El Gigante. He was El
Elegante,
Gigante.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
He was
And Giant
actually
Gonzalez.
bigger than both Andre and Paul White.
Yep.
He was way big.
Had
But
had a shite match with the Undertaker though.
yeah, he big
Yeah.
did not equal good.
Not always.
Yeah.
No.
No, not
No. As a matter of fact, a lot of big guys were really hard to work with and dangerous. It's like the guy they called Mabel had his share of bodies to his name.
He did,
But
yeah.
these guys they're massive
Undertaker.
guys, and so
Broke Undertaker's orbital bone, I think it was. That Mabel did with the leg drop.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was very dangerous to work with. People hated working with that guy. Anyway, but okay. I watched the WWF, couldn't understand why there's no pandas there. Pandas. Why would you want pandas? Okay.
World
Giants do not break-
wildlife.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, there is if you did have a giant female, I guess there'd be the tunnel of love. Just saying. Anyway, all right. So getting off of that subject. All right, so we do know that there are some very big mass of people existed, including a guy who's called the he actually lived in the 60s, I think it was, and this guy was the largest human that's ever been recorded. Let me get his name right quick. I had it earlier. But he did not live long, and he did not live a happy life, but he was massive. Robert Wadlow. Yeah.
Okay.
And Robert Wadlow, known as the Alton Giant of Illinois, he died at age 22, so he didn't live long. But he was 8'11" and 439 pounds, and he had hypertrophy of a pituitary gland, which resulted in a high level of human growth hormone. But he his coffin measured 10'9" by 2'8" and by 2.6 deep, and it weighed over 1,000 pounds, carried by 12 pallbearers and 8 assistants. But he's buried at Oakwood Cemetery, Alton, Illinois. But what killed him was a faulty brace irritated his ankle, leading to infection, and he died was treated with a blood transfusion and surgery. But it was basically a blood, anybody can die of a blood issue, infection. I know a guy who scraped his leg on a nail at his farm and didn't get looked at and died about 2 weeks later.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, it's easy to
You
happen.
get sepsis, you die pretty quick.
Sepsis can kill you quick. Yeah. I got a friend right now I'm worried about might pass away from. She's had multiple surgeries on getting her arm chopped off because of blood clots. But anyway,
that's bad.
usually humans suffering from giantism.
Yeah.
Have
Hard
weak
part,
hearts.
Yes, they do.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. One of the things I saw, which was
go ahead.
one of the things I saw earlier was about this, giant skeletons that were discovered. There's been a few,
Yes.
and a lot of them were somewhere around like 7 to like 15 feet, I think,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere thereabouts. So that's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
That's about, if you think about a steel cage match, since we're talking wrestling, that's about 16 feet high.
Right.
So imagine
They would be banging their head on the roof. Yeah.
exactly. Imagine someone that tall. So yeah.
Well,
and there was a few of the
I
things
was telling them earlier.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
There was a few of the things that I was looking at were discoveries in Death Valley, and what was really interesting about the discoveries in Death Valley is that every time that the people were going to go back and go back to the sites to document these things and such, they all died mysteriously. Car accidents and other sort of things. So
imagine that.
That was kind of strange.
Total coincidence. Yeah. There's nothing to see here. Move on.
Well, another way to back up, these giants.
Yeah.
There's a reference to giants in the Bible, David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Ring a bell.
Goliath was about 7'11", so he was actually shorter than Wadlow. But he had a brother that was 8'1", by the measurements, by biblical measurements. So yeah. But the giants were known. They were basically offspring of angels and men called Nephilim. And they're also have a name called the Enochian, but it's well documented. And think about it is every time that something is in the Bible and they find it in reality, suddenly something strange happens. Let's just say that. Okay, 1 second. All right. Part of Scotland is Death Valley. And why don't the giants have wings? Nephilim do not have wings. Okay.
No.
It's never listed that they had wings. And that it isn't even listed that the angels have wings. The seraphim, which are entirely different creatures, have wings, but it never states that the angels had wings. So there.
That's
anyway.
True. We just
all right.
We just depict them with wings for some reason.
Yeah, because Paul McCartney had wings. Yes, he did indeed have
that's
wings.
Funny. That's funny.
There you go. Plus, he is Sir Paul, and to some people, they like pray to him. So anyway, all right. So this is one of the most well documented incidences, and let me play this right quick. So this is actually documented. There's actually scientific information out there, and what happened after this came to light is fascinating. This time it wasn't the Smithsonian; it was somebody else, somebody you will never expect. So here you go.
Is inaccessible, as it is within the premises of the Vandenberg Space Force Base. Mummies of ancient giants with red hair have been found in other parts of the United States as well, along with objects evidencing an ancient yet sophisticated culture. In 1940, another cave was discovered that contained mummies of giants. However, the United States government were able to cover it up, and only 60 years later, we were able to learn of its contents and its approximate age. Sidney and Georgia Wheeler, two archaeologists who worked for the Nevada State Parks Division, were exploring the so-called Spirit Cave. They were surprised to find around 70 artifacts and 2 giant mummies. They were buried there on purpose, judging by their careful wrapping and because they had been deposited over a woven mat. The mummies belonged to a male and a female giant. Both mummies were transported to a nearby museum, but to the discoverer's astonishment, most newspapers declined to cover the story. The mummies were then forgotten until 1996, when an anthropologist at the University of California, Riverside, Irv Taylor, thought they were the perfect specimens to conduct a dating experiment with the university's brand new mass spectrometer. To his amazement, the apparatus gave an impossible date of 10,000 years before the present, a time when no inhabitants were supposed to have lived there. but the machine was well calibrated and the dating was exact. Just when he was about to make this extraordinary discovery public, the Bureau of Land Management stepped in to seize the mummies with the excuse of returning them to the Paiute tribe, whose ancestors they supposedly were. Just 6 years earlier, in 1990, the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act was enacted. The act forced all federal agencies holding Native American cultural items, be it artifacts or human remains, to return them to the respective tribes upon request. Strangely, Taylor's earliest reports of the mummies revealed that the individuals were not related to the Paiute tribe, and in fact appeared to be of Caucasian origin. The form of the cranium resembled that of Nordic peoples. For this reason, it is yet unclear whether the Paiutes actually asked for them back. In any case, the giant mummies of Spirit Cave were never seen again.
Ah.
Imagine that. Well, that's
the Bureau
military,
of Land Management, and
that military base. The video that I watched earlier, I think it said that there had been a discovery in like 1860 or something like that of soldiers were digging for a munitions dump or something, and they uncovered this huge skeleton. And
they found a level of gravel, and
they were asking the tribe, what the hell is this thing? And it had like a huge skull, it had double rows of teeth and things like that, and they buried it again. Yeah, and then secretly went back in and took it away. So,
well, they were saying
go ahead.
No, they were saying too in the video that the skeleton remains resemble Nordic people. Well, documented that the Vikings came to North America well before anybody else did. So
Eric the Red,
right?
But Eric the Red had red hair, so there you go.
Imagine that. All right,
what? Welcome, B-Dog. Thanks for coming in and contributing anyway. All right. But thing about it is one of the things about this is like the Cryptid week, but we're running into Conspiracy week also. This is like a twofer. Hitler wore Einstein to parkour. Yeah. Hitler was a parkour. Thank you. Thank you for that participation.
He might have been. We don't know.
He might have been.
Yeah. Well, ultimately he was, but anyway. All right. I'm going to park. I'm going to point to the side. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Yeah. There we go.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Hitler was a parkour, yeah.
Well, didn't take long for that to get going, did it? Usually at the end.
No, it did not.
And it wasn't me this time.
I know. Yeah, you're being good tonight. Anyway, well, all right.
Abby, tonight only. As I say, Abby, remember, was it last year or the year before you sent that video about the architecture? And there was all those giant doors and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, is that part of it as well?
Could be.
Yeah. Petra, which is the city carved out of rock in ancient Edom. It is massive. I mean, the doors are like stories high. And that was not common back then for you to have that many high archways like that. And Edomites, for the most part, were never conquered. They conquered themselves, essentially. People hadn't heard from them in a while, and then they went looking, and they found them wiped out, and they assumed that they did it to themselves.
Yeah.
And so there was actually Nahum in the Bible that predicted it, but they talked about how the Edomites kind of like turned their back on the Israelites, and they were like God's judgment came down upon them. Also, they talked about Canaan land having giants in them that we are like ants compared to, and one of the two that survived, one of the two that were like went into the promised land and came back with a good report, Caleb and Joshua. But Caleb actually asked for the mountain area where the giants were for his own, and they gave it to him, and he went and conquered the giants. So evidently there were giants in Canaan land around the time the Israelites came in. That's also biblical. All right. So, all right. St. Paul's Cathedral has a giant door. Perhaps there were giant monks. I don't know. Perhaps.
There for a reason. It makes you wonder if it's more than just aesthetics.
Perhaps giant parkours. Yeah. We had this discussion earlier. We're moving on. We're moving on. We had this discussion. Giants do not make great parkour. Yeah, bad center of gravity. Okay. All right. Meanwhile, back at the subject. There was a video I watched, and they had like 20 of these appearances of giants throughout history, and I just took the top 5. Hopefully this video won't get me struck, but I'm going to go ahead and play it. We'll find out. Yep. But earlier it didn't trigger anything, but that means nothing to YouTube these days.
No.
So because they have a different system for live streams than they do for uploads. Figure that shit out. Okay. I can't. I don't know why they did that. But it is what it is. All right. So let's go ahead.
Just to be annoying. That's why they did it.
Yeah.
Oh, well. There you go. There you go. Nazis. Anyway. All right. Okay. Let me play this right quick. Here we go.
Mysterious giant skeleton. In the Krasnodar region of northern Caucasus, a team of Russian archaeologists made a wonderful discovery. While excavating a historical site, they found the bones of giants. The bones are believed to be the remains of ancient people belonging in the Bronze Age, who lived about 4,000 years ago. Archaeologists revealed that the male skeletons measured a full 2 meters in height, while female skeletons measured approximately 1.7 meters. The Giant of Ohio. This is a giant story from Ohio. Workmen engaged in excavating a cellar located on Webster Street across from a mammoth skeleton one day. The large-sized skeleton clearly indicated that the human to whom the skeleton belonged was of a giant stature. The skeleton measured 7 feet in height. Most of the bones of this gigantic skeleton crumbled as soon as they were exposed to the air. Hence, archaeologists were not able to ascertain whether it was of American origin or Indian origin. One thing is certain, the remains must have been interred a long, long time ago. The giant skull of a cyclops. But first, do us a favor. Click that like button to inspire us. Subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell and you won't miss any interesting videos. Done then? Let's go. Some discoveries may sound like creepypasta, but they were actually real stories. On a foggy winter day, a group of men suddenly came across something that was completely out of the ordinary. An enormous skull with the socket of a single eye was discovered. The grotesque-looking skull belonged to a massive monster. Archaeologists linked the skeleton to a huge mammal giant called a cyclop that only had one red eye. It was estimated that this cyclop was 6 feet tall and weighed 6 tons. This intriguing fossil was estimated to be at least 3 million years old. The famous giant of Alzo. Recently, researchers unearthed remains of a famous giant known as Miguel Joaquin Elegisi. Miguel is considered an important historical figure. He traveled throughout Europe in the 19th century and met with royalties like Queen Victoria. It is believed that Miguel was born with gigantism. As a grown man, he stood 7 feet tall and weighed 470 pounds. After his death in 1861, his remains were interred in a cemetery in Ouzo, Spain. Surprisingly, his skeletons, which were long thought to have been stolen, were later found in the same cemetery where he was originally buried. Unique giant skeleton in Thailand. A huge ancient humanoid skeleton was found in a cave in Krabi, Thailand. The skeleton was a male and measured about 6 meters. However, the most amazing fact about this skeleton is that next to the giant skeleton were found remains of a serpent. It is said that the giant skeleton must have been killed by a horned snake in a cave. This discovery sparked widespread public curiosity. It left people wondering whether snakes sneak into graves to feast on the dead. Which of these discoveries was the most amazing? Do you think giants exist even today? Please let us know in the comments.
Well, according to that video that I watched earlier on, Ohio is in America the largest place where there's all these discoveries.
Chillicothe, where Drunk Craig was for like 4 summers, and he never freaking visited the biggest site in Chillicothe, but it is what it is. All right, he was there doing the play, the outdoor drama. He was there for doing that. But evidently drinking a lot, which is one of the reasons I call him Drunk Craig. So there you go.
Yeah,
he's got Irish in him. He said he blames it on the Irish in him. I'll just say that. But anyway, so this is the most famous picture. This is actually taken in all
right.
Yeah.
So that's a mummy that was found in California in 1895. Okay. Back to there we go.
Yay.
All right. So during the past few years, a huge controversies emerged accusing the Smithsonian and a host of skeptics and archaeologists of covering up this discovery of hundreds of giant skeletons in Native American Indian mounds. Jim Vieira is one of the key people who began uncovering hundreds of newspaper articles and accounts of giant skeletons after he became intrigued by his visits to stone chambers found primarily in northeastern states. To date, Vieira has pulled together 1,500 accounts from newspapers and books published in the 1800s and early 1900s. Now, the newspaper stories relate that the skeletons ranged in sizes from 8 feet to over 18 feet. Wow. Vieira began issuing the reports one at a time every day on a popular Facebook page called Your Daily Giant. Vieira was subsequently attacked by skeptical bloggers. One of the skeptics, Jason Colavito, related the giant reports came from misidentified mastodon or mammoth bones. He must. Might be. That might actually be Time Prophet's name. Might be. Anyway, but however, Colavito didn't cite a single example of a hoax or a giant skeleton found in America that turned out to be mastodon or mammoth. In other words, he's talking out of his ass. So, hey, could be Time Prophet. That's a Time Prophet attribute. Anyway, so he also wrote the modern paleopathology textbooks could explain other reports because repeated freezing or thawing of buried bones would expand bones enough to turn a slightly average body to a gigantic one. Both of Colavito's assertions are astonishing claims evaluated below. In February 2014, Andrew Collins and I began a detailed investigation to many of the giant reports, as well as assertions by skeptics. We visited a host of mound sites, spoke with several archaeologists, ran many of the giant skeleton reports down to their source. What we found was intriguing to the extent I wrote a book on the topic. Andrew wrote the foreword. Path of Souls, Native American Death Journey, Cygnus, Orion, the Milky Way, Giant Skeletons and Mounds, and the Smithsonian. Nice title. He needs to shorten that a little bit.
Just a wee
Anyway,
bit.
the main title. Hold on. All right, here we go. So we got pictures of giants. So they're not doing a great job of hiding them. Yep. Could giant skeletons be aliens? Yeah. And my name is not Elephant Bone. All right. Anyway, so main title reflects the original intent. With the detailed new information about mysterious symbols found on artifacts excavated from mounds and what they mean with respect to Native American beliefs about death. We were essentially sidetracked by the giant skeleton issue, spent a great deal of time finding original sources of the stories. This article focuses only on the skeleton findings. Hold on a second. Fun fact, Milky Way is also a bar of chocolate. Well, thank you for participating.
Yes, it is.
We
I've not had one
did
of
not
those
know
in
that.
years.
Did not know that. All right. Unlike the
Yeah, they're good.
skeptics, we did find some hoaxes in the reports, detailed a few important ones in the book. Most notable of those was the Tampa, Florida Giants, reported in newspapers 1922, 1927. Very intriguing hoax, including a land speculator, the Smithsonian, in the newspapers. We also found many other reports seemed to simply vanish as they were followed. This means they were typically second or third hand stories where somebody told someone that someone told them where some men were digging somewhere and found some large skeletons. The trail of this type of story simply ended at the initial publication, which is often local history books compiled from various residents' recollections. We also found that many internet sites and some books touting the giant skeletons apparently added sentences and facts to the original source. Many giant skeleton pictures reported on the internet, and some books are not correctly cited. For example, pictures of supposed giant skeleton excavated at the Serpent Mound was it excavated at the Serpent Mound, and the giant was a picture from a normal-sized skeleton excavated at Chillicothe. So many other stories were intriguing and had passed the multiple sources, but they were not sufficient in terms of what we might call proof. However, the fact is that a substantial portion of the old reports of large or giant skeletons were written factually and are backed up by archaeological evidence. At the same time, it became clear that modern archaeologists and some skeptical bloggers essentially loathe this fact so much that they go to great lengths to execrate those who take the topic seriously. It's a fancy word for, burning them in effigy, essentially. The intriguing set of giant skeleton reports we found factual was the Chickasaw Mound in Arkansas, reports of many large skeletons found at the site. We visited the site, met with archaeologists nearby State Archaeology Field Station, an archaeological publication we found before going to the site. And when they also handed us arrived at the station in the same report. All right. As soon as I hear Abby chuckle, I gotta bring up some dumbassery. Could the big bones come from fat ladies? They also claim that they're just big boned. No.
I'm not fat. I'm just big bone. I'm just big bone.
There you go. All right. Okay. All right. Almost to the end of this. Let me just slide to the beginning here. All right. So where's it at? In essence, for the Smithsonian to have found 17 skeletons that were 7 feet tall by chance alone would have to excavate 2.5 million skeletons. That utilizes modern height statistics, not the smaller heights known to exist in ancient Native American populations. In some, there's a genuine mystery here. The height of many individuals entombed in giant American mounds was far taller than the general populace, far beyond what could be explained by simple chance. And where's it at? This guy goes on forever. But all right. Okay, second issue concerns the Smithsonian, the alleged conspiracy. As detailed in the book, I don't see the Smithsonian as being a conspiracy in true definition of the word. I see it sort of a stupidity in the sense that they have ignored an aspect of their own findings that the public sees intriguing. Instead of engaging the public, they alienate it. And also the American archaeology resents all outsiders, resists all beliefs that go against the beliefs. They utilize skeptics as sort of a police force to silence critics and others. From a psychological standpoint, they're doing battle with their own shadow, and it's a battle they can't win. So he's a legend that Smithsonian basically is suppressing any information that goes against their presuppositions. Those presuppositions are that carbon dating is accurate, that the world is millions of years old, that the origin of the species is fact, evolution is fact, and anything that goes against that, it gets suppressed. Now, there's a guy in Alaska. He was on Joe Rogan, and he's talking about this bone dig he found in Alaska. But he won't declare it an archaeological site because if they do that, they'll swoop in and basically take everything.
Right.
The moment it becomes archaeological site. And so he voluntarily gave some stuff to the Smithsonian on loan.
Yeah.
And basically said, okay, at this particular time, I get it back because I know you assholes will file it away and then say you don't remember having it. He says, but this, well, the time came and went. He got a court order to get it back. And rather than give it back to him, the frickin' Smithsonian dumped it into the Potomac.
Right.
They dumped all these artifacts that basically prove that the Earth is not as old as they say it is into the Potomac rather than give it back to him. He's suing them. He's currently suing them for it. But governmental dollars, they think they're untouchable.
Well,
that might be changing though.
That's what this whole thing with Graham Hancock is proving, that the Earth is older than what people say it is. Or man has been around longer than that.
Well, that's the thing. Either that, there's two presuppositions there. Graham is making the presupposition that mankind has been around longer, or the Earth is not as old as they think it is, and that mankind has been around as long as they think it is. It just hasn't been around longer before mankind, and which means it all could have been like come into existence around the same time.
Right.
But he doesn't want to go that distance, and so he just basically he's done a lot of mental gymnastics that says that the mankind has been around longer. But there's a whole entire breakdown on this. Intelligent designers have done a whole entire breakdown on Graham Hancock's like mental gymnastics that are taking place. But anyway, let's get this over with. All right. The doors in British houses are 7 foot tall, but most British people are not that tall, except for Tom Baker. He's not that tall. He's about 6'4" or something like that. Battle of Shadow, only a flashlight is needed. Yep. Is that why the Titanic was sunk? Supposedly there was bones on the Titanic. So who knows? I have socks older than Earth. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so okay. So basically, this has happened all throughout history. That we've seen this happen several times, like the bones in the Grand Canyon, or the mummies in the Grand Canyon. We've covered this before.
Uh-oh.
But there was an excavation found in, we found that was found in the Grand Canyon. It was all in the papers and everything like that. And the Smithsonian swooped in and excavated it, carried boxes out of there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so much so it impacted the local economy. And there's a lot of eyewitnesses to this happening, and these people coming in and out. They know the names of the people that, or at least the names that they gave that were taken in and out. And then the trucks left. And then when they followed up, the Smithsonian said, "Oh, those guys have never worked here. We don't even know who those guys are."
Right.
Smithsonian on all the trucks, and they had army with them, which is the Smithsonian only has access to. And then the Smithsonian later is like, oh, what you talking about?
I don't know. I mean, it could just be me, but it's almost as like they don't want us to know certain things.
Giant skulls way. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It is almost like they don't want us to know things, isn't it?
Yeah. We've gone over this with the Smithsonian, and the fact that the Smithsonian was created by a dude that never visited America, supposedly dumping a whole lot of money in the, over in America, which he didn't even like do in his lifetime. It's supposedly something with his will that said he wanted to do this. And so his whole big parcel of money went to America to build this apparatus, which basically became a paragovernmental organization that has access to governmental powers, and even has the vice president of the United States on its board. We didn't know that till we did the research. And yet they have no oversight. That about a 10% of what they supposedly have is on view. Might even be smaller than that. And they're always, people are tracing stuff back to the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian denies knowing where it's at. It's never been audited.
No.
There's a theory going around that George Washington was actually poisoned to death, and you would find that in his bed, the bedclothes or whatever, and they were supposedly sent to the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian is like, oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, well, what they traced it to like one of their facilities, and then it just evaporated after that point. So evidently it's not where they said it was supposed to be. And so after that, they're like, we can't help you because it's not where they said it was supposed to be. And we just can't find it. So, so any proof that the president of the United States might have been poisoned with arsenic, which is entirely possible, because he was too powerful at that time, and whoever was trying to take over our government needed him gone. He was way too smart and way too on the ball. And so he could have been poisoned to death like Napoleon was around the exact same time with arsenic.
Huh. Wow.
And because they won't allow him to, his family and the government would not allow him to ever be dug up. The only place they could have found this was in the bed that was given to the Smithsonian. That paper trail is pretty ironclad that it was given to the Smithsonian, evaporated after that point. So are they hiding giants? Are they hiding the giants, the presence of giants from us? I said they. I didn't say Smithsonian because you got the Bureau of Land, management that showed up and took the skeletons, and then they did that piece of legislation that the Indians didn't appear to have any kind of a hand in. That said that anything that would be buried in Indian mounds or on Indian land had to be given back to the Indians, but the Indians have no apparatus to receive it. Right. And so basically all that does is like lock people out of being able to investigate these mounds and burial spots, which they basically predate the Indians anyway. So they don't really own them. This just happens to be, they just like, oh, it belongs to Native Americans. We can't touch it.
Right.
And so from this day, the same things happen at the oldest site that they discovered in, I think it's Argentina, maybe. I can't remember the name of it, but that one has a lot of the government completely seized it and locked them out as soon as they started finding artifacts that questioned whether evolution exists.
Right.
And so it's not supposed to be available to them for like decades, I think it is. But anyway. All right. Let me see. Let me find out what Time Prophet's saying. Here we go. The Irish are not hiding the giants; they're also hiding little people, the leprechauns. Okay. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Leprechauns are Santa's, elves are fired for drinking on the job. Okay. Leprechauns are Santa. Okay, hold on. He. And question is, why would they hide giants? Okay.
Yeah.
Any theories, gentlemen? Why you think so? I know why I think so, but why do you think so?
Because they're aliens.
Probably because well, I was going to say because it probably proves the existence of God in the Bible, and they don't like that. So,
well, considering the weird kind of like I would say like hysteria that seems to pop up anytime somebody has a find that backs up biblical account, which, oh, by the way, there's a lot that backs up the biblical account. They found Sodom and Gomorrah, and there's parts of it that are melted in such a way that it looks like a nuclear blast went off. There's a kind of blast that's only located in like places where nuclear blast happened, and Sodom and Gomorrah, the site of it, has that glass. So that's been discovered. So
the good old fire and brimstone will do that.
Oh
yeah, right. And the Shroud of Turin, what did they do? It's like, oh, we did this carbon dating test from the worst part of the cloth we could possibly do it, and we proved it was found in the medieval. Even though our data is not consistent, and even though by every single metric we screwed this up, we're going to like make it front page news all across the world. And now that we had to recant our own study, we're not going to say anything to anybody, and no press is going to cover it.
Right.
Okay. So just things that we've discovered since we've been doing the show, so that somebody doesn't want the biblical count backed up. So that is indisputable, even by Time Prophet. He'll dispute it, but it's really indisputable that every time that something has backed up the Bible, suddenly people have swooped in and that information has become unavailable. This has happened over and over and over again. Whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in the validity of the Bible or not, somebody does.
That's it, yeah.
And in the Bible, there are giants, and they're called Nephilim, and they are the offspring of men and angels. And so if you have to believe in Nephilim, you have to believe that there's offspring between men and angels, and you have to believe in angels for that to happen. And if there's angels, i.e., there might be God. So, all right. Okay, here we go. Ancient aliens then. All right, there you go. Fair enough. I didn't think you'd concede. Yeah. You're too terrified of that idea. Follow that road. Anyway, so gentlemen, I am going to go ahead and do the poll. It's only in my chat, unfortunately, because Wookie is somewhere doing something, whatever, wherever he is, playing hooky. So it's only in my chat. So I don't probably expect anybody to actually be there because everybody's in Wookie's chat most of the time. But let me check and see if I got any votes whatsoever. I do have a vote. Holy crap. Let me see here. We have in the middle and confirmed 3 votes. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Bilbo Baggins and Abby. Did you vote, Abby?
Yes.
Somebody voted. All right. Oh, okay. All righty. I guess we'll close that out. So we got for confirmed, we got 2 confirmed and 1 in the middle. And so we'll close that out. Cancel. All right. All right. So we are here at the end. Hold on a second.
Yes,
There's missing page of the Bible says all
there's
characters
missing
in the book
books
are
in the
totally
Bible.
fictitious. Yeah.
There's a lot of missing books, yeah.
Everyone is a giant to Bilbo Baggins. He is a hobbit. Yeah. All right. No, actually, there is no missing, but out of the Bible, it's been debunked. Look up Wes Huff. Wes Huff will give you a complete breakdown on all of these apocryphal books and why they are invalid and why they were invalidated. Anyway, I don't have time to go into that. We've just got like 3 more minutes to go. So, all right, Karul, what do you think? Is it confirmed? Are they hiding giants from us? Is debunked? They're not hiding giants from us because giants don't exist. Is it in the middle, or are you undecided? What do you think?
No, I believe that they are definitely hiding giants. They're hiding everything else.
So we
You
all
know,
right. We're confirmed.
yeah, definitely.
We're confirmed. All right.
Definitely
All right.
confirmed, yeah.
So Abby, did you choose in the middle or did you choose confirmed?
I'm in the middle.
In the middle. All right. All right. So that's 2 in the middle, and that is 4 for confirmed because I am confirmed. So if you, I guess we're confirmed tonight.
Yay!
I'll add 1 vote for debunked because Time Prophet's in the chat. So I'll just add 1 for debunked. I'm fairly certain that would be his vote. But anyway,
yeah, I'm sure.
But we'll check. We'll check. All right.
You forgot
let me go
Wookie.
with
Wookie would vote.
chat.
Wookie would vote potato.
Potato. No, that's not very helpful. But neither is Wookie. So there you go.
Is it a giant potato?
If you are
Giant spud.
I don't know.
A giant
know.
spud. A giant
Spud,
tatty. Oh, there he is.
All right.
Where
all
have
right.
you been?
Potato.
You slacker.
Okay,
You've missed
you
the
had,
whole show.
All right. Yep. Debunked. Yep. Oh, no way. Debunked? No way, Time Prophet. No. I can't believe that. Wow. Anyway.
That is,
Okay.
that is totally shocking.
Totally, completely shocking. I'm losing my faith in humanity here. Anyway. All right. So anybody else have an opinion? Debunked, confirmed, undecided, or in the middle? Anyone else want to vote? I speak now or forever hold your peace. I guess
come on,
we only have
Wookie.
one debunk.
You've been in the chat. You've been in the chat, Wookie. What's your opinion? You might as well give us it.
Yeah. Debunked, deplaned. What the hell does that even mean? Anybody know what the hell that means? Anybody speak Wookiee or dumbass? Okay. All right. So 2 debunked, 2 in the middle, and 4 confirmed. So I think we can pretty much give it to confirmed.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I don't know what the hell Wiki is saying. Anyway,
A cheeseburger,
what else is new?
of course. Mm-hmm.
All righty. We are confirmed this week.
Nice.
We do think that they are hiding the giants.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever reason. I'm in the middle of a cheeseburger. Once again,
Of course.
totally shocked. I did not see that coming. Anybody? It's like, wow. Completely mystified. This Mr. Potato Head exists.
Of course he exists, you hockey puck.
Yeah, you can buy him. You can buy him tonight if you had a Tesco's near you that, in your communist country. Anyway, all right, so that's been pretty much that's been the show. Anybody got anything left to say before we go?
I got nothing.
Anyone? All right. We do have next week is the conspiracy
Report the
week.
park horse.
Anybody? Sport the park horse. Oh yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Next week is conspiracy week. Does anybody have a conspiracy they'd like us to cover, or anyone off the top of your head?
Was the CIA involved in Kiki Camarita's murder?
Kiki Camaria. Okay. I have to look into that one. I'm not familiar with that one. But
I'm not familiar with that either.
alrighty. Yeah. Yep. Well, I'll look into it. Doesn't seem like I've not heard of it. So we'll just have to see if it's intriguing enough.
There's several documentaries about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. We'll probably do that next week then. Was the CIA involved in Kiki Camaria's murder?
Mm-hmm.
Give us a short lead up.
He was
Who
a
was
DEA.
Kiki Camaria?
Kiki Camarena.
Okay.
He was a DEA agent in the mid '80s.
Mm-hmm.
He was investigating, the cartels and stuff, and turns out that somehow the CIA was involved because they were running guns to the Contras, and the way they were paying for these guns was drugs from the cartels. And Camarena was kind of uncovering all this, and they pretty much tortured him and murdered him.
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
about right.
All right. This is in the 80s.
80s.
80s. Answer's probably yes. Anyway. All right. Okay.
That's the show. That's the show over. That's 2 in 1.
Yeah. All right. Solved. Anyway. All right. We'll look at that next week. We'll look at that next week. All right. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Time Prophet. Night Man.
Yep.
Wherever you may be.
Have a good
All
one,
right.
Time Prophet.
All right. Have a good week, weekend. The rest of it. We'll see you next time here on Cryptids and Conspiracies, where the truth is in the middle.
Yep.
Night,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
And there we go.